tells me nothing.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, will you please stand at this time as we are led in prayer? And we're going to ask if Councilman Freeman would be so kind to lead us in prayer. Immediately following our prayer will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Milkovich. But before we go into our prayer, I'm just going to ask if we can please have a moment of silence for Wayne Jones, who has passed away, who was a former state rep, but also a former Summit County Democratic Party chair, very involved in the party, and definitely made an impact not only here in the city, but also in Summit County. Clerk will read the minutes from our previously held meeting.
Minutes from the November 4th, 2019 meeting. Council convened in regular session at 7 p.m. with President Somerville in the chair. All members were present except Sims, later excused. Minutes of the previous regular meeting were approved, 11-0, Neal abstained. Reading of petitions and communications, passage of the consent agenda, report of standing and special committees, passage and referral of new ordinances and resolutions, representation from various departments and divisions, public speaking period, no further business on a motion by Fusco. Council adjourned at 7:45 p.m. to reconvene in regular session on November 25th, 2019, or special call.
Any corrections or additions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
Letters, petitions, and communications.
One objection to Waterloo Road resurfacing for resolution number 302, 2019.
File.
One objection to the Waterloo Road resurfacing for resolution number 301, 2019.
File.
A new D1, D3 liquor permit to Clutch Gentlemen's Club LLC at 1890 South Arlington Road.
Special attention, Councilman Hoke.
Notice of transfer of a C1, C2 liquor permit to Mighty Mart LLC, doing business as Mighty Mart at 1216 South Arlington Road.
Special attention, Councilman Kamer.
Correspondence from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control regarding the new permit application for the Family Dollar store number 5303 at 970 Copley Road.
Special attention, Councilman Neal.
Summary of income tax receipts through the end of October 2019.
File.
Okay.
Before you have the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
This evening, we do have 3 public hearings. So I'm going to ask if there's anyone here in the audience that is here to speak on any of those public hearings, if you could please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by a member of our law department.
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
Okay. Public hearing number 1, notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, November 25th, 2019, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in Akron City Council Chambers, 166 South High Street, about an ordinance authorizing conditional use to establish a cleaning business at 795 East Wilbeth Road.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Judith Sampson is requesting permission to establish a cleaning business, also known as Sampson Cleans All, at this location. Petitioner stated that the cleaning business has been operating at this location for 8 years. The detached garage is utilized for business operations and the storage of equipment. The hours of operation are typically from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., but can vary. The business currently employs 6 people, but has employed up to 15 people during peak times. On a routine day, the employees arrive at the residence to collect their cleaning supplies and work assignment. Since the employees utilize company vehicles, there are 4 total, their personal vehicles are left at the residence during their shift. One objective of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan is to eliminate present and prevent future conflicts of land use which are detrimental to residential neighborhoods. Staff's of the opinion that the use of the residential property as a business is not an appropriate land use. By adding an excessive amount of vehicles and the parking of vehicles within the front yard, the property in use is very intrusive to neighboring properties at present. There are many commercially zoned properties within the city that are appropriate for operating such a business. Both planning staff and planning commission recommend disapproval.
Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this ordinance? We're just going to ask that you approach the podium and please give us your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Judy Sampson, 795 East Wilbeth Road, Akron, Ohio. I have a cleaning business called Sampson Cleans All. We've been in business now for 8 years at the same address. Never had an issue with anything. I'm down to 3 employees, including my daughter. Now we're very, very slow. We've never had an issue until I went and had my roof done. The next door neighbor said that the roofer guy was in her driveway for 5 minutes, and this is what caused this, okay? Since then, I found out that there was an issue with our cars. 3 years ago, I did call the zoning and get permission to put the gravel in my front yard. It was approved. I wish I could find his name, but I couldn't. I looked for it when I got home today. But we talked earlier, and I see that was an issue, which I got rid of all the cars and made places for them, so there is no more cars in front of the house. I've been doing everything I can to keep our business. I cannot afford to move my business, and if I do, if I can't, my employees are going to be out of work. They're 60-some years old. They've been with me since I started. We're very quiet. They come in at 8:30 in the morning, they get their stuff and they leave. Okay, nobody's there. I go inside my house. They come back, they drop their car off, and then they leave and go home. We work Monday through Friday. That's it. We're very quiet. We're very clean. Our house is very clean. Since I left today, I also called the fire department because that was one of the regulations, and I wanted you guys to know that to take further steps with that because that was mentioned today. So I called the fire department to see if I can get approval from them, and they're going to call me back tomorrow. So I just want you guys to let us stay there. We're not hurting nobody.
Thank you, Mrs. Sampson. Thank you.
Welcome.
Is there anyone else here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak against? Anyone here that wishes to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco.
Thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Amobian, Kamer, Neal, Swirsky.
Okay, this item will be referred.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Public hearing number 2. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, November 25th, 2019, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in Akron City Council Chambers, 166 South High Street, about an ordinance authorizing conditional use to construct a parking lot on the west side of Yellowstone Avenue, south of East Talmadge Avenue.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Frank Charlillo, who owns the adjacent Academy of Self-Defense, located at 1220 East Talmadge Avenue, is requesting permission to establish a parking lot on the west side of Yellowstone Avenue. A courtesy letter was sent to the petitioner on August 14th, after the zoning staff was notified that the vacant residential property was being utilized as a gravel parking area. Petitioner stated that the additional parking area is needed for overflow parking for his business. He stated that the extra parking is typically only needed on a few occasions per month. Staff is not opposed to utilizing this lot as a parking area if the property is fully developed. As such, the parking area must be paved and set back 20 feet from the Yellowstone Avenue right-of-way, along with curbing and a 5-foot in-depth landscape buffer. The location of the proposed parking area is consistent with the retail uses to the east and the west, and the petitioner has already buffered the retail use from the abutting residential property with solid fencing. This neighborhood is currently developed with a mix of residential and retail uses, and the proposed parking lot will not be out of character with the surrounding uses. Both Office of Integrated Development and Planning Commission recommend approval, subject to conditions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone here wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against? Anyone wishes to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco.
Thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable recommendation with suspension of the rules. Kamer, Neal, Swirsky.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. The recommendation here is for favorable, and this is after consideration by the committee based on the fact that 3/4 of the sides of this property is basically commercial. The southern edge, as mentioned before in the report, is going to be buffered by a fence, and so it's the belief of this committee that this is a good use of this particular parcel, and we recommend approval this evening. And I also, Mr. Kilby's in favor of the ward councilperson.
The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Okay, public hearing number 3, ordinance authorizing conditional use to establish a warehouse and offices at 1011 Gorge Boulevard.
Mr. Antonucci?
Madam President, members of council, Terry Vale is requesting permission to establish a contractor's office and commercial warehouse at this location. A member of the petitioner's family currently operates a private school out of the Box Academy in the primary structure at this location. After a few years in operation, the school has determined that the facility is larger than necessary for its operation. But behind the school and to the east is a large 5-bay commercial garage that is currently unused by the school. The petitioner intends to utilize this garage as satellite materials and equipment storage facility for his roofing business, Vale Roofing. Additionally, a portion of the school building would be utilized for an office and periodic employee training sessions. Primary location for the well-established commercial roofing company is in Paynesville, and this new location would provide the company with a presence in the greater Akron area. Sufficient parking is available, and no significant changes to the property are necessary. The proposed use should not have a significant impact on the surrounding area. A large 5-acre property is well away from the residential uses further to the north, and both Office of Integrated Development and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor?
First of all, thank you for council. My name is Elizabeth Graff, yes, Vale. I'm Terry Vale's daughter. I own the school in the front, out of the box. We've been there since 2016, and we've just loved being in Akron. And we've loved servicing special needs community in this area. We have such a huge need that we're actually in January opening up our preschool integrated session that will also be English as a second language. So we are super excited about early intervention for all of our students and all of our residents in Akron, and opportunities because we are close to walking distance in North Hill. I'm going to leave a few of our things out, but I want to say that my father, Terry Vale, who has been in business since 1981, has every intention, and I will keep him to it. And one of the things when we looked at how to give back to Akron and looking at the International Institute, two of the things that without a doubt are needed are childcare, which I help with, and jobs. And that's where my father is going to help with. So if I can do anything in bringing licensure to the staff of my father's company and making sure that others are able to learn a trade and be part of Akron, I will do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak against? Anyone here that wishes to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thanks. President Somerville, I'd like to pull a committee for favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer. Neal. Swirsky. Aye.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Okay, thank you, President Somerville. This is a rather large parcel. To the west is the Expressway, Route 8. To the north is the Summa Health Systems offices. That's to the north and to the east, and directly south is North High School. So this is a good use that fits within the neighborhood. The planning department and commission was in favor, as well as the ward council person. So we recommend approval this evening. We've also agreed there's 6 conditions that we've asked that they comply with the petitioners, and so we'll recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
Councilman Fusco, what's your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
Yes, thanks. Time on 4, 5, and 6.
Time will be granted.
File 7 and 8, those are the petitions that we had just voted on. File 7 and 8.
Okay, 7 and 8 will be filed.
Time on the balance.
Time will be granted. We'll now move into the rest of our old business. Rules. Councilperson Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would like time.
Time will be granted. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
The committee's report's favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This will allow us to have temporary appropriation for current expenses, and we need to have this passed here. There's some time involved with this, so we are asking for suspension of the rules.
Okay. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
Public Utilities, Councilperson Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would like time, please.
Time will be granted. Now moving to new legislation.
Okay. From the Rules Committee, offered by President Somerville, item number 0, resolution setting forth the timing and process for the organizational meeting of the incoming new council, providing for other matters related to the new council and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would like time on this.
Time will be granted.
Item number 1, offered by Freeman, ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into an agreement with the University of Akron School of Law to provide an amount not to exceed $25,000 for its expungement program in 2020 and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
We heard a good report today from the individuals involved with the expungement program, and the committee has asked to place this item on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 3, ordinance declaring certain improvements in real property located in the Home Avenue redevelopment area. Where'd it go? I love paper clips. I'm sorry about that. Item number 2, ordinance approving the sale of certain city-owned property located at 103, 109, 117, 121, and 123 North Adolph Street to Summa Health System pursuant to the Summa Urban Renewal Area Project, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Now we'll do number 3. Ordinance declaring certain improvements to real property located at the Home Avenue redevelopment area to be a public purpose and exempt from real property taxation, providing for the collection of the service payments in lieu of taxes and the deposit of those service payments in the appropriate fund, providing for all payment of a portion of the service payments to the Akron Public Schools, and pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, sections 5709.41 and 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 4 was pulled. Moving on to item number 5, offered by Keith, ordinance ratifying the actions of the Director of Public Service in his actions of entering into a contract with H.M. Miller Construction for the emergency repair of the invert of the culvert below San Run Road and San Run Parkway, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would like this to be placed on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6, offered by Keith, ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of East Market Street between the termini of Canton Road and Interstate 76, Cyberlink Street between the termini of Triplet Boulevard and Archwood Avenue, Innovation Way between the termini of East Market and Cyberlink Street, Vernon Odom Boulevard between the termini of Rumig Road and McTaggart Drive, and Opportunity Parkway between the termini of Edgewood Avenue and Cedar Street, and by resurfacing and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Keith.
Madam President, the committee would like this item to also be placed on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 7, offered by Sample, ordinance amending and or supplementing Title 5, Chapter 50 Sewers of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Akron and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee requests time.
Time will be granted.
Item number 8, offered by Samples, ordinance approving the expenditure of additional funds for the purchase of additional powder-activated carbon pack for continued treatment of drinking water at the Akron Water Plant beyond the amounts authorized in ordinance number 17, 2019, and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Samples,
Thank you, Madam President. Consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 9, offered by Samples, ordinance ratifying the actions of the Director of Public Service and entering into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for the relocation of the city water main in order to conduct improvements to the State Route 18, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilperson Samples,
Consent agenda, please.
this item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, item number 10, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Interval Brotherhood Home to provide comprehensive residential drug and alcohol treatment to eligible individuals and declare an emergency.
Councilman Kamer,
Thank you. Committee's report is consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 11, offered by Councilwoman Keith, ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title IX, Chapter 94, Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Article 5, Heating Regulations, Sections 94.99, penalty by adding administrative fines as a penalty for violation of Section 94.19.2 and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kilby,
Oh, thank you, Madam President. The wishes of the committee is to place this on the consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda. We will now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. If you wish to speak to council during this time, you may approach the podium. We're going to ask that you please give us your name and your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Anyone who breaches decorum may be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak during our public comment period?
Hello. My name is Tug Massa. My address is 922 Kenmore Boulevard. So I had a little meeting before this this hearing, and we got a couple of things panned out. I'm the founder and executive director of Akron Say No to Dope. We place over 1,115 people in treatment, whether it be mental health or addiction. We gave out 2 tons of clothes to Celebration Church the other day. We gave out probably 250 coats and just as many blessing bags to the community, fed them donuts. You know, we do things like that, little small things as well. We also do harm reduction. We have a needle exchange program, Narcan training, where we distribute Narcan kits through the partnership of Summit County Public Health and Project Dawn. I do courtroom avocation. We do a lot of things. We have a thrift store at 932 Kenmore Boulevard that's called New Beginnings that serves as anonymity if somebody wants help and they don't want to be stigmatized as being somebody in trouble. So I have no separation in my life and my work because I live at work, literally live at work. I live in a sober house, me and my wife, with 7 gentlemen, which is not easy. We had a little bit of a disruptance today at our residence, and I'm just asking that this be on record that we need a little help on Kenmore Boulevard with some parking. I hope that we can come to some kind of resolution with this. I'm asking for 920 Kenmore Boulevard. It's $60-some thousand in rear taxes. I've asked to purchase this property several times. We need some parking. We have 2 parking spots. The majority of our people that frequent our thrift store are elderly folks, and they're asked right now by the city to walk down the alley in Kenmore from behind Rena Center, which if they don't see that first parking spot open, they're going to keep driving. They've said it. So it's like, I feel like if we don't have more parking, we're going to have to shut the doors. And this is safe. People come there to hang out. People come there to talk, so they don't go get high. So this is something that the community needs to grab a hold of and take seriously. We're there providing free services that save the community millions of dollars. I don't need a pat on the back. I need help. I've asked. We still have yet to get a house. I'm working with the land bank a little bit. I'm saying, help us out. We want to make Kenmore better. I'm the guy that people walk across the street when they see and cut back across, and when I ask somebody why that is, because I'm known as the guy that will duct tape them and take them to treatment. Although I wish I could, that's kidnapping. But I have that reputation. But I also have the reputation of building relationships with the people that are in trouble, and I reach out to them and their families, and when they're ready, we go. Yeah. We go to treatment right now, no excuses. If somebody needs clothes, hygiene, something to eat, we will provide that. So I'm begging you to take into consideration 920 Kenmore Boulevard. It's a vacant lot. We had permission to park there when the lines got all messed up. We went from 5 parking spots in the front to 2. So I'm asking for some help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Massey, for sharing.
Hello. My name is Scott DeJarnette. I own a property recently. Let me make it real fast. I'm a Kenmore guy. I've been living in Kenmore 8 years. I was raised in Kenmore. I recently came back. I had a property at 813 Kenmore. It was recently had an arson. Kenmore came together to keep me there. I didn't ask for nothing. Recently, I gave away 170 book bags fully. I gave away 75 haircuts for only Kenmore. You couldn't go, you had to go to the Kenmore schools because we're going to be losing the high school. I volunteer at the Kenmore youth basketball. I'm for the youth. And they recently moved me to 930. They did that. Kenmore, I was done. I was trying to get out of there. They would not let me leave. Now I'm at 930 in between this gentleman, but there's no parking. There's no parking. I deal with poverty people. I deal with people that, you know, I'm a barber, so it's like being a doctor, it's like being a psychologist, I get the kids, and I have a property now that I can really give back and also make money also, because that's what it's about too. But we don't have no parking, and they will ride by. Kenmore is a boom area now, you know, it slowed the traffic down, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm in tune with the police, I'm in tune with the schools, you understand? My kids go there, I walk, and we don't even have Rite Aid Pharmacy no more. I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic for 20 years. Everything I do, I try to give back, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Who gonna give back to us? So that's all we asking is for. We gotta figure something out, because when you come outside, you got 5 tickets on your thing, and all you doing is trying to work honestly. We just trying to do stuff honestly way, you know what I'm saying? And that's all we asking is just give us a little help over there so we can get some parking so people don't worry, because Kenmore is coming back. We trying to be diverse about it though. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody. So that's all I'm gonna say, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeJarnette. And Mr. Valley just informed me that Mr. DeJarnette and Mr. Massey, you guys are going to be meeting with Mr. John Valley tomorrow so that we can hopefully address this issue for you, okay?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Brumbaugh, and I'm the manager of New Beginnings at 932 Kenmore Boulevard. And I I just want to say, we do so much stuff that you guys don't even realize. I'm going to get emotional. So recently, we did the coat giveaway. We're doing a tree giveaway as well as a toy giveaway on December 14th. I do have a lot of elderly and disabled people that come into my establishment, and for them to walk from behind Rent-A-Center, I wouldn't park my car behind Rent-A-Center. It's so full of glass, and it's just, I wouldn't even trust it. So I don't know what all I can say except for I wish you guys would please consider helping us. We've had people come in and tell me personally, I work at 932 Kenmore Boulevard 6 days a week, 11 to 6 p.m., that they do not come in because there's nowhere to park. They come in with oxygen machines or in a wheelchair. They just can't do that. I have one gentleman that comes in, he only has one leg. I mean, it's just really difficult, and I'd really appreciate your help as well.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening, Council. My name is Harrington Hargrove. I live at 1008 Floral Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44307, Ward 3. And I'm coming before Council. I attended a meeting Thursday down at Lane's Library on Vernon Modem Drive in reference to the facade grant. It was a positive meeting. I think my name is on the list, I'm hoping. But I also want to come down here and address council in reference to the Economic Development Department as to who can I see to talk to about other loans that the city have to advance my project. So anyone from the Economic Development Department, I would be more than happy to get their names and make an appointment so I can continue to advance my project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hargrove.
Good evening. I'm Carol Coleman Crane with Teen Towing and Service. Just want to say that I appreciate the opportunity to come down here and the reception that I get, and just thankful for living in this community. I do love Akron. I love all the positive things and things that we're working on and trying to improve, and just wanted to thank you all and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mrs. Crane. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public comment period and move into committee assignments. Rules, Councilperson Keith.
2:30.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. Planning, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilperson Keith. Public Utilities, Councilperson Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
215.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
145.
Housing, Councilman Kilby.
330.
Health and Social Services, Councilman Freeman. 230. Economic Development, Councilperson Sims. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky.
1230.
Is there anything else coming before council?
Second.
We have a motion to excuse Councilwoman Mobian. Is there a second?
It was.
All in favor signify by saying aye. We already had a motion and a second for adjournment. Seeing no objections, we're adjourned.